What's up, YouTube? Back with another video after, well, about 2 weeks. We're kind of in the gray zone a little bit, but so much has gone down in the last 2 weeks. I'm sorry you guys didn't get a video from me after the last video. Usually I try to do them every week, but duty calls, life can be very demanding, but we made it back here. Had a lot of personal things going on. I had a funeral. I had a lot of changes going on in life, but we got all of them squared away and we're on the mend. So I'm actually, I work still a day job, so I'm back working that day job. So I'm forced to pick up my couches after work now. So definitely puts a little bit more strain on things. Definitely gives me longer days, but nonetheless, we're not stopping flipping. We're definitely not stopping. But basically, wanted to make this video kind of to make up for missing the last 2 weeks, and basically to talk about my journey. I guess kind of an overview of my journey of flipping in general before even getting to couches, because I flipped a lot of things, a variety of things before I got to doing couches again. But yeah, and by the way, I'm actually, if you can't see, I'm already picking up a sectional right now, bringing it on my way home in traffic. So I figured I'd do this video, but nonetheless, I figured I'd use this video as a makeup video for the last 2 weeks. But basically, gosh, I want to say, well, it's August now. Probably, let me just say, about a year ago, this month, a year ago. So last year in August, I felt the need to continue pursuing. I had tried before that via eBay, reselling in general, but had some success, but it was just like any other business, was fluctuating up and down. But like I was saying, back a year ago in August of 2020, basically during the pandemic, where no options were available income-wise, that's pretty much what started me over with reselling. But I was trying to do it more, I guess, locally. Nobody had money to buy anything on eBay at the time, I guess, based off what I was selling. I'm sure people were still buying stuff, probably sanitizer, face masks, stuff like that. But I didn't have that great of luck. But basically, this time last year, I started reselling basically whatever I can get in bulk. And since I was new to buying basically liquidation from liquidation places, from pallets, buying from wholesale places, warehouses, etc., and during the pandemic, all the above was closed. So you really couldn't go anywhere in person to buy anything. So, I figured, like, if I'm going to try to make a shot at, doing something, and mind you, I was still working my day job. I was an essential worker. So I had to tough out working during COVID, or the heat of COVID, and still try to do more afterwards to, be comfortable. The job just essentially didn't pay enough. So, the truth of the matter is, whatever I can get my hands on, I was looking around, doing some research on YouTube, as I do religiously to this day. Was just researching, looking things up, finding other sources of income that I could generate and start, side hustles that I can start. And I really enjoy flipping, so I wanted to get back into it, but do it locally and see if I can get fast turnaround, have people basically do like curbside pickup, and that way, it'd kind of be contactless, mask up, walk outside, make a sale, walk back in the house basically at the time, or my apartment at the time. I started with football cleats. Was the dumbest idea I could ever do, given that nobody was playing sports. But the thing was that they were all Nike cleats, and they were, Nike football cleats, brand new. I think I bought a lot of them, like a small pallet of them. Really wasn't a full pallet because there was only like, gosh, I want to say 10 or 12 pairs. And I bought all of them for about $100, but it cost me about $200 to get them shipped. But at that time, I'm like, gosh,
in 2 miles,
I should be able to
merge onto I-5
make some type of profit out of
Santa Ana.
these. And I just simply went off blind faith. It wasn't the smartest idea, but nonetheless, we pulled the trigger. They came in a huge box. And I'm like, I was excited. I had to hurry up and get home because when they delivered them, I wasn't living in a good area, so they definitely steal things over there. I mean, they were stealing rent checks from the apartment complex that I was living at the time. So definitely was on a bum rush to try to come home and pick them up. But long story short, I started with cleats. I tried to throw them up on everywhere. I even threw them back up on eBay, even though I wasn't having success with them. So I threw them up on eBay, threw them up on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, you name it, and was not getting any traction. And just, I'm very optimistic, and I just don't give up. At least I don't know how to give up, and just kept trying to push them to sell, and they just would not sell. And then I'm talking, 4 months later, now we're talking closer, we're well into the holiday season in 2020 at this time, and I was basically having no luck. At the time I was still commuting on a motorcycle, so I actually didn't have a truck. I had an SUV that was extra vehicle that my grandfather gave me, and it was a Jeep, and I just made it work. That was just like my garage on wheels, and I was living in a studio apartment, but trying to make it work, just having no success. And I just okay, I can't just sit around waiting for them to just sell, and they're just not moving. I'm not getting a lot of traction. I wasn't even getting a lot of views on the listings. So I'm just like, okay, well, while those are marinating to sell, this is before I understood the art of reposting listings to get better traction, which I can talk about in another video. I was like, okay, well, let me look around. I actually used Facebook Marketplace and was trying to find wholesale liquidation warehouses. And mind you, this is coming closer to mid-December-ish 2020. And found a place that was probably about 35 minutes away. And found a place where I can buy bulk, but not buying too much. They sold them on pallets, and then they also sold them in you can basically buy bundles, I guess the best way you can describe it, which are just anonymous items that you purchase in bulk in one huge trash bag. They were all brand new, granted, just like the cleats were. They're all brand new, but I bought them home, and I'm like, okay, based off the quantity that I bought them, and I think I only paid $50 for the trash bag. And to give you an idea, I think there was only probably 40 items in there, give or take, 40, 50 items plus, give or take. And I thought for sure, I'm like, okay, this, I gotta definitely make a profit. Just based on quantity alone, because at the time 40 items was more than 12 items, being the cleats.
Continue
Didn't
straight,
work,
then use the right
and
2 lanes to take the exit to
I
merge onto
tried to
I-5
sell
South
them on
towards Santa Ana.
eBay, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and they just some of the items did sell. Some of the items were deemed worthy, valuable, if you will, to sell. And I was able to get some of them moved. I maybe sold, 10 items within the first 2 weeks. I know at the time I was happy because I was at least selling something. Something was coming in, or my return of my initial investment was coming in. So I really needed to only make $50 to make my money back. And I would honestly have been good on that, and everything else would have been gravy, honestly. So I just kept at it, kept trying to push all those items to sell. They were moving really slow, but they were selling, but very, very slow. A couple items a week, which was just not enough to be like livable incomes by no means. So I'm like, well, I'm selling them. They're making money, but it's small dollars in profit. I'm definitely not enough for a meal for one day a week, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, I was just keep on keeping on. And I went from that and was just like, gosh, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or picking the wrong items. And then I came across an online course that I did that I took to teach me basically how to officially do pallet flipping. That changed everything. Took the course, which at the time was at a deal, and took the course, learned it, immediately applied the knowledge that I learned within, I think, I just went to the warehouse and just basically shopped around and ran across this pallet of window blinds, like not shutters, but window blinds, like vinyl and the fake wood blinds. There was a pallet full of them. There must have been between 100 and 200 blinds in one pallet. And the cool thing was, the pallets at the time were only $50. I guess I was on the clearance item, and I was unaware at the time. Definitely did that. I was looking at them, I'm like, gosh, that's a lot of items, and probability, based off probability, or just the quantity, I should say, 200 items or even 100 items in there, 150 items, if you will. If I sold them at $1 and I buy them at $50, geez, well, making $100 profit, if there was 150 of them. But I was thinking, like, gosh, well, that gives me a very small margin to lose. So I'm thinking to myself, well, you know what?
Use the right 2 lanes
I'll just
to take the exit to merge onto I-5.
I don't really see anything else that I want to take a risk on. I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and buy this. And at the time, I ended up buying a truck during that time, or at the time, I already had a used truck that I bought, so I can have the opportunity to carry my own pallets, because I didn't want to ask for help or rent. But bought it. $50, at the time I had no system. I went and brought it home, unloaded it, put it in the garage, categorized them by size, because there was a variety of sizes, colors, and materials. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what to do. Should I make a listing per size, or make one listing for all sizes? And of course, to be efficient, that's what I did. I made one post for all sizes, and boom, I think I was posting them up for $5 to $10, which is actually a lot higher than I needed to. And almost immediately that week or the next day, I started selling right away, two and three at a time. I'm like, 2 and 3 at a time. Well, that was like $10 to $15, depending on what I sold them for per sell. And I'm like, wow. And then went from 2, and people kept buying 2 and 3 at a time, because everybody's house has a lot of windows, so they're buying it for their whole house. So I was basically selling the blinds per house, and
in 2.9
I was selling them
exit 120 onto Rosecrans Avenue.
At the time, I thought it was fast rate, but at a pretty good rate. I was selling them 2 and 3 blinds at a time, then from 2 and 3 blinds at a time, then it was 5 to 10 blinds at a time. Then I had my first customer buy like 13, and I was ecstatic. Then 16, and then someone came to me and bought, which I later found out they were also a reseller. They bought 60. They bought 60 blinds. And I was like, it was nonstop. And at the time, I was doing back and forth, because I was slowly moving into my now new place, and I was using my garage as my storage, and I was still at my old apartment, so I was driving back and forth just to make sales. But it was driving me nuts because I was busy every day, all day. But yeah, it went from that to 60 to 90. Then it got to a point where I was selling the entire pallet in one sell to this person at the time who was also a reseller. But I would sell whole pallets at a time. I would sell the $50 pallet. It started to go up in price, but I sold the $50 pallet and was selling them for $400 and $500 per pallet. And I'm like, wow. And the warehouse that I was going to at the time kept supplying them. So obviously I kept selling them. So I was then trying to connect with the person, the account manager at the warehouse, to make sure I continue to have more coming in. And it just grew from there. It kept growing and kept growing. One pallet a day. I think I did that for about a week, almost straight. Then it was coming to a point where I would sell 2 whole pallets of blinds, which is about 300 blinds in a cell, and I was making almost $1,000 per cell. From there, I was flipping that into buying more pallets. I would buy 2 and 3 pallets at a time, and then at one point I bought 5 pallets at one time. Obviously, I could only fit 2 in my truck, so I would take 2 home, or not even take them home. Buy 2, buy 5, take 2 with me, take it to the person who would buy them, sell it, flip it, make a lot of money, do it the next day, do the same thing. And I was doing that for all of the beginning of 2021, and which leads me all the way until trying to do furniture, because I'd heard about you can make a lot of money doing furniture.
Take the exit, then turn
and I'm like,
right
before the success ends of flipping blinds, let me try a furniture and just see how it goes. I started with like a really small nightstand, bought it for $20, and I think I restored it, did all this extra labor, painted it, turned it in, I think that turned into $40, so I doubled my money. I'm like, okay, cool, it works. Let me try the next type of furniture. Actually, I just slowly started to build. I went to that nightstand to a big full-on Chester. I think it was about a 6-foot Chester, and that Chester took a while to sell. I picked it up for free, very heavy, put it in the truck myself, strapped it up, anchored it, and then and then I ended up selling that, I think, for $100. And then I'm like, okay, cool, furniture's cool. And then I started entering into trying, this is coming closer to like spring break roughly, for couches. And I think the first week I did couches, I think I sold like 7 couches. This was after moving. I was moving while I was transitioning into couches, and I found that the couches worked well. That after finding out that once I sold my my personal couch, then it was on. Like, I sold my personal couch, it didn't fit. I sold it for $500, which basically I got all my money back from when we had essentially picked up the couch, or bought the couch from Big Lots or whatever. But it was too big for our new place. So I sold that, and I sold it for $500, but it sold in like an hour. But I'm like, dang, that's unreal, So I'm like, I wonder if I could just do that again, which led me to selling the 7 in a week, which was, at the time, was just nuts. It was spring break, and it was just, I was out of work, so I was just like, you know what, this is going to be income for the week. So I did that, and I mean, since then, I couldn't count how many couches I've sold, but what a journey. It's been awesome. Well, cool thing is, anybody with a truck, and with a little hustle in them, a little entrepreneur in them, everybody can do the same thing. Very doable. It is very real. If you are questionable or hesitant about it, actually, if you're hesitant about it, just pick up a truck, go find a free one, and put it up for sale. Simple as that. Yeah, very, very, very eye-opening. I mean, it's to the point now, the couches are earning me more than my day job. So it's been insane, an insane journey. But I just wanted to share that story with you guys. I hope some of it is inspiring for you to get started with reselling in general, and fit it into your everyday life or schedule. Yeah, hope it was inspirational. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because it helps me out with the algorithm, and I'm gonna keep feeding you videos, hopefully inspiring someone to do the same. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below.
1.5 miles, turn
Looks like
right
I'm
onto
about to arrive at
166th
home
Street.
with the couch, and you know what I'm going to do. Getting ready to go ahead and work on selling it. So I hope this video makes up for the lack of videos the last 2 weeks. Just wanted to bring you guys something special. I appreciate you guys. Keep up the support, and we'll see you next time.